Hey everyone, I got a really cool AMA here today. I got Hoops from Equalizer Exchange. It's one of the top exchanges on Fatom. And they're doing things a little bit different. They're doing a V2. They have some other stuff going on, like efficient liquidity we're going to talk about. But first and foremost, thank you for coming on the channel.
Thanks for having me, and thanks for everyone that listens through here. So yeah, really excited to jump on, have a chat. Always fun to talk about crypto in general, but especially when it's Equalizer, I'm even more excited. So happy to have a chat.
So I want to get something clear off the gate. An Equalizer, I hear a lot about Equalizer fork. How are you guys different than like a pancake swap? Like what did you guys do differently?
Okay, so I'd say Pancake Swap is sort of like your first iteration. It uses like a Uni V2 model for the liquidity. And effectively, the liquidity providers in that system earn the fees that come through, and it's directly input into the liquidity. So every fee that comes through is what supports that liquidity. So what we've done in the Equalizer model is we've adapted another model which was Solidly, which actually incentivizes the token holders with the fees. So what you do in that instance is effectively you get a flywheel effect where people want to buy the token so that they can earn the fees. So to make it in its simplest form, we take the fees that come through from the exchange and then we give them to the token holders as opposed to just allowing them to support the liquidity. What that does then is gives your token a huge amount of utility. And I think that's what we're all looking for, right? It's like if you purchase a token, what does that token do? Is it just a voting right, or does it earn you? Does it give the ability to direct where the liquidity sits on the platform as a governing system of the platform? That's exactly how Equalizer works. So effectively, the basically anyone that owns Equal would lock it into VE Equal, and that VE Equal becomes the voting token that votes on the pairs each week, and it chooses where we direct our emissions. So obviously, because the fees are taken from the liquidity, they have to come back across, and there has to be something in return for people to place the liquidity, and that is the Equal token. So effectively, Equal gets the fees, which gives it value, and then it comes back full circle and supports the liquidity with that token as it's effectively our mission token, but it also then supports the liquidity, and then anyone that buys it or farms it and locks it then earns all the fees from the platform based on their vote.
Okay, that's a lot. That's actually quite a bit. I appreciate that explanation. I brought up the Equal token real quick so people can kind of take a look. So it went from $1, which is rare for a farm token. Basically, that's what Equal is. It went all the way up to, I mean, my God, $1.43, and you went all the way to like $15. That's insane. And you're slowly kind of backtracking down, which is, you know, it's fairly normal for a farm token. My question to you is this.
Yeah.
I have $1,000 and I'm farming, let's say a stable pair, $500 each on each side now. And I get your Equal token. The fees from people trading that stable pair go back into the Equal token that I get as rewards if I stake it, is what you're saying, right?
That's correct. That's correct. Effectively.
But how would I get those fees? Do I get those fees in a stable token, or do I get those fees in more Equal? How does that work?
So effectively, the way it works initially is you would earn the Equal token at the value of whatever it is there, $2.50. Okay. So your option then is, you know, some people may sell some of that token, or, you know, the system is created not to incentivize farming and to incentivize locking of that token, because you could sell the token today for $2.50, or you could lock the token and earn for as long as our platform exists.
What am I earning? Am I earning another token?
You're earning the fees proportionate to your vote on whichever pool you vote on.
Okay,
so let's just say
this is important. This is really important. So I'm earning the fees on all the DEX, basically, right? On all the different tokens.
If you choose to vote for it. So it's your job each week, and we can go through the vote page later, but it's your job each week to go on there and select where you think the best APR is. So let's just say that the fees came through for your pairing at $1,000 for the week. That $1,000 is now there to be voted on, and whoever votes on that with their equal earns that $1,000. Let's just say the FTM USDC pool has $20,000 on it. Well, it might make sense to vote for that. We also have another thing, because what you have is a lot of inefficient liquidity in the market, especially when you're a smaller startup token. So what people do is they bribe.
Right.
So effectively, there's bribes also to be scooped up. If you own Equal and you've locked it, you can effectively scoop those bribes up as part of the fees. So you can vote on them and earn them. So it's really is like a flywheel system. It's like incentivizing people not to see it as a farming token, if that makes sense.
I understand. It's got different parts to it than a normal farm token. It functions a little bit differently than a normal farm token, right? For the most part. What have you seen so far has been the most profitable? Just getting the farm token, either locking it or just people who have sold it. Where have you seen it work the best?
Definitely people that locked it. Like I know that the chart looks like it starts at $1, but it started at 20 cents. So some of those people bought in at 20 cents. Actually, there was a time when we dipped to 3 or 4 cents. So some people were buying it at 3 or 4 cents and now have been earning at like last week on $2.50 or $2.70 or whatever we were. The average APR was about 150% on those voters. But extrapolate that back to someone who bought at 20 cents and they're earning like 3,000, 4,000 APR on their initial investment. And the way I see it sort of going is like if we believe run is coming and you own this token and you lock it and you vote, let's just say for the next 2 years, and the income keeps increasing, especially as we see volumes and market action come back to the market through something like a bull run, what could be the price of Equal is not really hugely relevant when you could be earning like $100,000 in fees that come through our DEX. Like at the moment, the fees, we're doing about $50,000 to $100,000 a week. Imagine when those are like $100,000 a day coming through in a bull market. So the DEX, so the Equalizer token will be helped more and more as more volume rolls through, correct? 100%.
Wow. Now I'm starting to understand this a lot better. And I see why. In my Discord, I have my own Discord group, and I see when you guys first came out, why people were so hot on you guys. And I just brought up how much volume you guys have on your DEX. It's actually really good right now, especially on Fatom. Congratulations. Like you did 24-hour volume of 1.2 million on Fatom. That's like rockstar level, man.
Yeah, like we've been consistently performing as number 2 there on DEX Screener every day. There was points where we were tipping there at number 1, and we've done as much as $17 million in a day, so or something up close to that 20 mil. A lot of 2 months ago we were doing 5 to 10 mil. So Fatom volume has dropped a little bit, but we see some revitalization of that volume as the FVM and some of the important updates come through for FTM towards the end of the year.
I mean, your liquidity here is really good. Fatom USDC is almost $6 million. I mean, for Fatom, that's unbelievable. $1 million in this. I mean, wow, you guys have a lot of pairs. Holy moly. Holy cow. You guys have all these pairs? This is insane.
That's right. And a lot of those pairs that you're scrolling through are actually pairs that are bribed. So they might have not a lot of volume, as you can see. But some of those pairs there are bribing each week to have that liquidity on the platform. So effectively, those bribes are there for people to earn. So not only do we generate $50,000 to $100,000 at the moment in fees on the DEX, but there might be $40,000 to $50,000 in bribes that come through for the week. So
can you explain to some people how a bribe would work on like a smaller token? Like if I have a token and I want to put it, and I'm on Fatom and I want to put it on your DEX, I load no, I don't load a liquidity pool. Maybe a small one. I create a small one and then I create a bribe for it. How would that work?
Exactly. So anyone that creates a bribe has to be whitelisted.
Okay.
And the reason is so that we don't get a lot of people trying to game the system or whatever. But effectively what you would do is the token would come along, a liquidity pool would be created, we'd approve it on a whitelist, and a bribe, our system has the facility for you to bribe directly on our platform. So you would simply choose your pair, select whatever token that's whitelisted you want to bribe with. So some people bribe with USDC, some people bribe with their own native token. And then, like when you look at our vote page, I don't know if you can quickly bring the vote page back up there, but whenever you vote each week, they're just there for you to select and select the amount that you need to that you would like to vote for. And those bribes and those fees are just sitting there for you to collect. As soon as we flip over the end of the epoch each week, those bribes then go to the people that voted. So the whole system is automated. So yeah, you're seeing there the vote incentives. There's $10,000 in Tarot there. Most of that was a bribe. So they've bribed $10,000 to obtain votes. And anyone that votes here gets their percentage of that vote. So
okay,
it's a pretty cool system in the end, like the way it works. It's very innovative, but there is a little bit to learn about it. You know, like we've got a lot of educational content to show people through this, because it's like first you need to know about us, and then once you've seen it, then you need to, you know, take a bit of a deep dive, spend a day or two learning the system, have a play around with a few dollars, and next thing you know, you can see the potential of the system.
So if I make a Wrap Fatom Tarot liquidity pool, I will get part of this $9,954.
No, if you're an equal locker, let's say you've locked your equal, then you come along and you vote on that pool. Let's just say, for instance, you have a 1,000 equal, okay, about a $2,500 position. Okay. Your 1,000 equal would contribute to the total votes there of 133,000. Okay. And you would get your proportionate share of that 10 grand as soon as we flip over for the week.
Okay, but I keep my equal tokens too.
You keep your equal, and it's locked away for 26 weeks for full voting power.
Whoa.
What most people do once they understand our system is they continually lock each week to keep their vote power. Because if you let your equal decay, so you let it drop down in the amount of time it's locked for, say at 24 weeks, it only has like a 90% vote power. So it's incentivizing people to max lock and continue to keep their lock.
So it's important in the equalizer system to basically lock your equalizer and be part of like the system, be part of the community, more than just taking this token and selling it off. It seems like you're incentivizing that. That's playing the center role of it. Lock these tokens, vote, and earn. Hope the volume goes up so you earn more, right?
100%. And that's what we're always about doing, is trying to ensure more volume. And my true belief is that we get another bull run and, you know, within a year or whatever. And the volumes we're going to see is just going to be crazy. Spooky Swap, our biggest competitor, #1 DEX on Fatom at the moment, effectively was doing $100 million a day at their peak, right? That itself, at the rate we charge, because that's all volatile volume they were doing, is $200,000 US in fees for the day. We're not even doing that a week at the moment. So let's just imagine we get this huge rush of volume to DEXs on the chain. It's going to be insane to see the amount of rewards coming through to these people that got in early and staked and learnt our system.
So if I bought a bunch of your tokens and I locked it, I would have been earning part of those fees during that time period, which I assume would be substantial. And then the equalizer token would start to move up in price, right?
Exactly. And then one other piece that's really, really cool, which we haven't touched on, is that once you lock it, it goes into a VE NFT. So it becomes an ERC 721 wrap token. So what you effectively now get is you get an NFT that can be sold on PaintSwap or on a secondary market. So you can use your equal, keep it max locked, earn as much as you want for the next 26, 36 months to the next bull run, and then you can sell it on the secondary market for, at the moment, they're going between 80 to 90% of their value. So you could have earned all this time, and then let's say a bull run comes, equals at $100. You've now got this locked VE NFT that you might be able to sell for $80 per equal. Plus you earned the whole time up.
Very interesting. Okay, I love it. One of the reasons you wanted to come over here was because I think you guys are also moving to a V2, correct? You guys are also moving to a V2,
so we've just implemented V2.
You just.
So our system has just moved to V2.
What is the V2? Can you give us a clarity on what's the difference?
So effectively what we did with V2 is we streamlined our process for bribing and things like that. So effectively everything is distributed as soon as we switch epoch to the people that have voted on those tokens. Before, the fees were streamed and the bribes came through separately, and it was a bit cumbersome. It required a lot more work from people.
Okay.
Now we've nailed it down to say 5 minutes a week work, right? So you can come in, vote on Thursday or Wednesday night, vote on Wednesday night, Thursday morning, collect your bribes, all in one package, easy to go. What we've done is we've revamped our front end. So we've gone and we've taken our system, which was a little bit clunky, and we've started to like really make it like a mobile first DApp with the ability to simply roll through and easily select and just make it a much better user experience for people, so that when you come to Equal, you only need to spend 5 minutes a week and you can earn. And there's like, we've got people that have literally left their jobs because they've been able to purchase Equal, and then they just vote each week with a sizable position. You vote each week and you earn your income, right? So it's pretty amazing what's possible, because it's like buying into a mini Binance when you think about it, right? Like,
that's crazy. That's crazy. I'm blown away. And I mean, you got a pool here of USDC MIM that's paying 120%. It's 2 stable tokens. That's crazy.
Yeah, like we've got some pretty big APRs that go on there for the farmers. And if you farm that and lock it, you're getting like, I know you've got to own the tokens to farm them, but effectively you're getting your piece of Equal just by farming it. So,
you know what? I've totally missed out on this. This is why I like being a YouTuber. You know, I'm not really a YouTuber. I'm more of an investor more than anything. But yeah. I wouldn't have looked at this maybe a second time. I had seen it a couple times early on where there was all sorts of hype in my own Discord. People were just getting into you like crazy. But I'm looking at some of these APRs. Let me actually share it, going to myself, why am I not doing this? I have MIM and I have the other tokens. Well, I could just slap them in here and start earning. Like, I'm like, am I stupid? What am I doing wrong? Look at this.
Yeah, look, and let's have a look at the MIM one. So the MIM one, I'll be honest, there's got $20 in TVL. So if you put it in, that APR is going to come down pretty quick, right? But there's a lot of other ones there, like that FTM Ghost. Is that got 100K? I think that's got 100K there. And it's 274% APR.
That's crazy. So, I just don't know. What is the Ghost token? I don't even know what it is.
So, yeah, at the moment, I think it is a little bit more of a sort of farming token, because they're trying to get a few products going. They are doing a few things, but it's still a fair amount of liquidity to farm with there. You know, if you have FTM and Equal, you can, or FTM and USDC. There's FTM ETH is like my favorite pair, I reckon. I know it's paying a lower APR.
Where's FTM ETH? I like that. That's a good one.
FTM ETH. Yeah, FTM ETH, I think, is down on the lowest. So there's Elite. Elite's another one, but there's 14,000 in that pool. And Elite's a pretty good stable token. It doesn't necessarily, it maintains value. It's actually the token of our lead
Well,
dev.
this is actually not bad. USDC with Fatom. I mean, I own Fatom. I have USDC. It's. I mean, if you're trying to be safe for 20%, that's pretty good. It's got $5.8 million in it, which is just wild. Holy cow!
And the best bit about that, what I love about farming that token is that you're protected downside. So let's just say the market does have a little tank, right? Your FTM value is protected because the USDC is like a bit of a hedge.
That's right.
You won't get the same growth. So if FTM does a 10x, you're not going to get the full 10x, but you're going to get some really, really good growth anyway, and you're protected on the downside. Plus, you're earning 20% for doing that in equal, which you can then earn on as well. So cool.
You get like 50% loss. So if it goes a 10x, you'll only get 5x. But if it falls 50%, you won't fall 50%. You'll fall like 25%. You cut in half your losses or your gains.
Exactly.
Or your gains. Okay. So I see this. This is a stable pair. USDC, USDT, 7%, guys. That's not bad. They have $1.2 million in there. I mean, there's some good stuff to get some equal token. As you can see, getting the equal token is a big deal. Like, I'm trying to figure this out myself, but I'm a little bit of a degen, just like everyone else in my group is. So I'm gonna look up here, see which one of these degen plays here would you say we should look at.
There's some fun stuff there, but Grain's been doing well.
Grain has been doing well.
Effectively, USDC Ring's been around a long time. Also, with those ones there, you just need to watch because some of the tokens have taken a hit because alts have had a bit of a hit, right? So you need to be watching a little bit. MPX is another good one, and they've got a solid product behind it. So FTM MPX there, they've got a large level of liquidity. They're paying high APR, and you're in a project that's building heavily. So
what the hell is MPX? Is my question.
What is it?
Well, I don't even know what MPX is. What's MPX?
It's a perps exchange. Yeah. So so it's a fork of GMX type thing.
That could be interesting. It could go up.
Definitely. I think that there's a lot of call for those at the moment. They're another, like the way I'm looking at the market and why we built Equal is that it's about generating like crypto was this great, path we all embarked on, right? And it just didn't have the revenue, right? But once you start to build these smart contracts to have an automated way to supply revenue back to the token holders, that's the next stage of crypto, in my opinion.
It's going that way.
Yeah. And that's where your GMX forks, Equalizer, things like that, effectively are giving you a return on your token. And if you're going to buy any token now in the bear, I think you've got to think reverse, right? You've got to be buying, the way I think anyway is buy in the bear market and enjoy the bull market, as opposed to buying the pumps, where everyone's thinking, let's buy these pumps. The same things happen with us, right? We've had this relief off our token where it's now accepted probably below what I would say is fair value, and every person that operates something would say that potentially. But I think we were exuberant. Now we've come back to probably under fair value, where it's the great opportunity for people to have a look at whether the system suits them, whether it's worth spending the time to learn, own a piece of a mini Binance, and earn each week and earn for as long as we operate.
So I understand a lot of stuff that you're saying and the ways you can make money on it. I see crypto changing. You're absolutely right. This is what is happening. What is interesting about you guys is that you guys are actually a fully doxed team, right? That's running Equalizer.
Yeah, most of our team is doxed. We're not going to lie, some of our team is not doxed, like our lead dev, but devs and our community, we're doxed there. So.
What was the thinking? I mean, you guys are, I assume you're in Australian accent, right?
I'm Australian, yeah.
Right. So, what was the thinking behind being doxed? Because you don't see a lot of decentralized DEXs doxing. What was your thinking? I know the laws are different in Australia too, so that probably helps. But what was your thinking in general?
We've built this decentralized, so we did a complete fair launch where we're not even the way I see it is this is a community-based project, right? There's code out there on the blockchain that operates. We raise no funds. It's a fully decentralized exchange that operates code on the blockchain. It was a product created, and it just runs and does its own thing. So the way I see it is like we've done everything not to be a security, right? We've done everything to make sure that we didn't raise funds, we didn't do all of that stuff, which we could have easily done, right?
You're in Australia. It doesn't really make a difference from what I've understood about Australian securities law, like crypto law.
It's not the same, but we want to make the way I see the system is like we're building for the future, and regulation is going to come wherever you are, right. But we've set ourselves in a way where that regulation we're avoiding it in a lot of ways because we're just a community-based piece of code on the blockchain. That's the way I see us.
I got it. Can you tell me more about? I think really the last question I have for you is, you guys are now doing efficient liquidity. Can you kind of give me an idea about where that all fits in?
So we're working really heavily on that, and that's probably our next move is efficient liquidity. So if you mentioned earlier pancake swap, and that's exactly what this model is built off, but we just take the fee portion out of it and then give it back to the token holders. But what we use is the same pool structure, the same Uni V2 pool structure. Okay. So there's been a lot of advancements since then, right? So what you get in a Uni V2 pool structure is you get a simple, easy way to provide two pieces of equal liquidity, but they go over a really large range. So what happens is if you don't have nice levels of liquidity, like higher levels of liquidity, then the slippage in a swap very quickly comes. Right. So it can be ineffective in a lot of ways for providing swaps unless you have a really large pool of liquidity on that set pair of tokens. So the biggest thing for us moving forward is like, what ways do we make ourselves more efficient so that we can give better returns to people when they want to swap? Because we're a liquidity hub first is the way I see ourselves. Okay. We want to draw in liquidity, but we need to make sure it's efficient. And that efficient liquidity allows for us to give really good swap rates to people to generate even more fees. The more efficient we are, the more swaps we do, the more fees we get, the higher the equal price, the more people want VE equal.
But how do you do efficient liquidity? Like, how is that set up?
So there's lots of methods at the moment, and our V2 upgrade was about allowing for that. So
so then you're going to start rolling that out.
Liquidity. What was that?
You're going to start rolling efficient liquidity out.
That's exactly why we built V2 to allow for us to input it into what we call our gauge, because that's what everything votes on. So that's how our system works. So we've enabled those gauges to allow for like 3 pools, tri-pools, concentrated liquidity, like metastable pools. So we've effectively created a way that we can put all types of liquidity sources in there now, not just Uni V2. And we're going to continue to build in that manner. So we want to house the most efficient liquidity on the network so that we can take the most volume, so that we can generate the most fees and support our VE equal holders. Everything we do is about supporting as much revenue as we can to VE equal.
Interesting. I'd really like to see how this efficient liquidity rolls out and how that impacts your volume. That could be really interesting.
Well, we've got our eyes on the top spot, so there's for us, that's the way forward, right? We need to have more efficient liquidity so that we're the #1 source on Fatom. We want to be that sort of that onboarding of DeFi education as well. Like through our YouTube channel, we're doing DeFi education constantly. We're showing people our system. Like if you just jump on our YouTube, there's heaps and heaps of content around how our system works. Another reason why I was doxed is because I wanted to show people how the system worked.
Are you going to go on any other chains, or you're just going to stay on Fatom?
So our #1 goal is to make sure we put all of our effort into Fatom, and we build and make Fatom our home and our initial place. But that's not to rule out multi-chain in the future. And I think, as we said, we're about revenue and efficient liquidity. So we're doing everything on Fatom, which we think is a great chain to build on. And we like to see, people come through, and just anyone that uses Fatom, it's like a DeFi educational program, because you can come in, you can click around for $1, you can do heaps of clicks and learn. Try and do that on ETH. You need a mortgage. Yeah. So.
Yeah, it's very true. Well, those are my questions. I mean, man, I'm excited for you guys. It's made me change my view about your Equal token. I'm definitely going to go try to farm some. I mean, I guess I could buy some too, but I think with a farm token, my preference is always to farm it. That's always been my preference. I kind of talked to my group about it. A lot of them do buy farm tokens and stake them, but my preference has always been, if you can get it for free, why not, right? Provide the liquidity and get it for free. Find one that's not too risky. You got to find one that's like, I go for a little bit more risk, but you don't need to. You can find one that's a little less risky, and then you can just kind of hold this. I like the price that it's down, because that means you can get more of it. So that's the positive of it too, in a way. So
yeah, definitely. You can acquire more vote power while it's down low. But I think at the same time, you're right. Like, farming is a great way to do it. What you get is some people that they'll farm it, then they'll use that farmed, or they might buy an initial stake. Then they get the fees and bribes or whatever. Then they convert it back into more Equal and try and build their position in VE Equal, because they're building their position in the platform. They're building their opportunity when we increase volumes.
Oh, I like that. I didn't even think about that. That's a good point. That's a really good point.
Man. We got lots of people doing that. They're like that, and like we're coming off the back of I think this little bit of a down period just in general for alts, and I really think we're going to see some more excitement start to come back. That's why we reached out to people like yourself to do a quick chat on a video call like this, explain it. But what I love is someone like you that's been around the space for a long time. And then we go through this here, and all the light bulbs are going off, right? But unless we do these types of chats and we go through all the things, and we've only done half an hour, it might take another 2 days for all the light bulbs to go off. But you can see how important it is that we educate the community, because we're not just running some farm type token. We're effectively running a flywheel system that supports that Equal token and allows people to govern and earn.
I love it, man. I'm gonna put all the links for the Equalizer Exchange and DEX in the description. You guys can go check it out. Play safe. Don't go too degen, I always say, but